Galyna Melnyk,
Hello.
Agnieszka Siwińska,
Good afternoon.
and Cosmina Aron,
Hello, nice to be here.
all of them from Peterka Partners, law firm, and all of them from different countries. So ladies, first of all, welcome to Prague. I hope you had a great journey, and please, let's start with where do you come from, and what do you do, basically, the most basic question. So let's start with Cosmina.
Hello, my name is Cosmina Aron. I'm from Romania, and during the last 10 years, I've been managing the Bucharest office of Peterka Partners. So I'm the local director.
In Romania?
In Romania, Bucharest.
Perfect. Agnieszka, I guess this is a Polish name.
Yes, you're right. I'm Polish. Together with one more woman lawyer, Dorota Płoskowicz, I co-manage Polish office of Peterka Partners since about 2015. Professionally, I deal with corporate law and M&A transactions. Yeah, this is my area of specialization.
And last but not least, Galyna.
My name is Galyna Melnyk. I'm from Ukrainian office of Peterka Partners. I'm Ukrainian. I've been with Peterka Partners for around 5 years, and for the last 4 years, I've been the deputy director of Ukrainian office. I specialize in taxes, and also I support a lot of various cross-border transactions.
Great. So many topics, but let's start with your, let's say, managing, co-managing, deputy managing roles. What is daily basis of your work? I guess it's some part legal work, some part managing work. Let's start with Agnieszka. So if I come to visit you in Poland, what would you do during the day?
Good question, but you are generally right. Part of my work is strictly legal work, so supervising legal work like agreements, memorandums, transactions, daily contact with the clients. Another part of my work is managing the office of Peterka Partners in Poland, which has grown significantly since its creation in 2011, because now we are almost 30 people all together, about 25 lawyers. So it's all kind of managerial issues you meet in any other law firm, you meet in any other company. So it's HR, it's internal procedures, it's checking how things work. It's also dealing with implementing new technologies, all that kind of issues.
And follow-up question: how difficult is combine all of this to have enough time for legal work and have enough time for managing work?
Well, it's definitely difficult. You need to set priorities, but I would say that it also very much depends on the legal workload, because it can be different. If you finalize transactions, then obviously you need to devote yourself mostly to legal issues. But still, I think the important thing is to remember that managerial work has to be done every day. So yes, it's like juggling, but
I
yeah.
like the term juggling. With lawyers, it's everyday juggling, right?
Yes. You also need to do BD activities on constant basis. So like part
Marketing.
of marketing. So part of this managerial duties also include marketing. So it's even more things to juggle.
Cosmina, I guess that your daily load of work would be similar. And just
Yes.
one follow-up thing, could you please grab the microphone a little bit
Sure.
closer? Don't worry, it's your friend.
Yes, I understand. I'll get used to it. Yeah, I think it's more or less the same. I'm co-managing. I'm the only director in Romania, but I have also one colleague that helps me with this, but she's more focused on files, Ioana Sebestin, but she's a deputy director. So we are two. Yeah, it's this managerial work. It's quite different from the legal work. So you need to get used to it, first of all. And sometimes you need to sacrifice, I would say, the legal profession and the legal work for the managerial duties, because as Agnieszka said, you cannot postpone the managerial duties. So you have to deal first with management and afterwards with legal topics, I would say. So it's quite complex from checking all the emails that you receive. Sometimes you have to select because sometimes
Yeah.
I have 300 emails in a in a day, so it's quite a lot. From HR to discussing with people. People have a lot of issues, so you need to understand
Great.
everyone.
And Galyna, how difficult from your role as a deputy is it compared to other ladies? Do you have, let's say, more time for your legal work?
I have to, because I also manage tax practice in Ukraine. And as basically we have in Ukraine the same structure as in Peterka Partners Romania. As Cosmina told us, we have the partner and director, Taras Utiralov, and I'm his deputy. So basically I just try to help him in management and in legal work. But of course it's the question of balance. We are quite a small team in Ukraine, around 15 my colleagues who are lawyers and also administrative staff. So it's a small team, and sometimes it feels like a family, and we try to maintain that feeling with our colleagues. So we invest a lot of time in HR issues, and we distribute our functions with my boss, director of the office, in a way that he deals mostly with HR issues because he's very outgoing, he has very nice personality, and I'm more formalistic. I try to manage all the administrative issues. Of course, he does that as well, no question, but I'm more a person to deal with papers, and also I have a lot of client work and tax projects.
How unique is your position as a woman leader in international law firm in your own countries? Is it something special, or do you see around yourself a lot of successful women leaders in law? And maybe let's start with Ukraine. Or do you feel special with your role?
I was when I prepared myself for this discussion, I was just looking back at my professional career, and each time a funny thought came to my head, because I've developed, I call it 15 minutes rule.
Mm-hmm.
So in Ukraine, a legal profession is now it comprises a lot of women nowadays. But I have more than 15 years of legal experience, and when I started law, there was some kind of, I would say, prejudice towards women, because when you are young, and we in Ukraine we start working in practical area, not like some internships. We come to law firms and we do real client work. And so when you are like 20 something years old, 21, 22, nobody's taking you seriously. But if you are a young woman, the first maybe 15, maybe 20 minutes of each meeting with a client or lawyers of other law firm is you trying to persuade another party that you are really smart and you can add some value to the project. Mm-hmm. So for men in law, maybe it's only 5 minutes if you are young, and it's even maybe 0 time if you are just mature enough to just persuade the counterparty just by your looks that you are a professional. So I think that our role and uniqueness as women in legal profession is that we just by not being shy about our like gender identity, not being persistent in persuading men on various projects, meetings, and events, that we can also add value to legal things. Yeah, so we are contributing to the equality of genders in this profession, and it makes it better.
I'm just thinking how many minutes does it take in Czech Republic, but luckily today it took you just 1 second to convince me that
Thank
you're
you.
great. How about Romania? Same question. How unique is a position as a woman leader in a law firm in your country?
It's not at all unique. There are many women in the legal profession, and I think there was a huge change during the last years. When I started my career, it was in 2004. There were not too many women in the management position, though there were a lot within the profession. But nowadays, it's quite common to have women in the legal profession and as in management positions. I don't know why, but most probably because we are.
Well, I know why, because you're great. Why not? But in European context, the Peterka Partners position is quite unique with so many women leaders across countries, right?
Yes. This is indeed unique. It's quite in compared to other law firms, maybe that we have more women than others, definitely.
So, and how about Poland?
I think it's in Poland, it's a little bit different in Romania, and I think that we need to differentiate about the stages of performing legal profession. So for sure we have more women studying law. For sure we have more women having training in the bar. But after bar exam, the situation changes a little bit in a sense that apparently, I don't have the newest data, but apparently the bigger percentage of men who finish legal training, they continue as attorneys more than women for sure. And as regards women practicing law, I think we have more or less the same level of managerial positions between women and men up to like middle management positions. After that, there is a gap between men and women in favor of men, in a sense that definitely we have more men on managerial positions in law firm than women. And we are speaking about the top managerial positions.
I guess this is very similar in Czech Republic too.
Yeah.
So I like to follow up with two questions. First of all is, why did you personally choose to be attorney? Because the options were wide, to be judge, to work from one company as general counsel. So why did you choose to be attorney? And the second one is, when and why did you choose also to manage people? Because lawyers are not from universities very well skilled to be also managers. So these two questions, and let's start with Agnieszka.
Well, I always knew I do not want to work for public sector. So I knew that I will never become a prosecutor or a judge. This was because of culture of work, maybe. And I knew that in the public sector, maybe it's not like that anymore, but I knew that people are not judged by their skills only. There are some other issues that might potentially matter. So like from the start, I knew that I will have to become an attorney or a notary public. And attorney profession seemed to me more interesting, simply. So that is the reason why I decided to be an attorney. And as regards the area of law I'm practicing, I think that it's a little bit of, I would say, luck where you start your career. Because and this positions you on the market. So I'm speaking about what kind of law firm, whether this is like a purely national firm working for only national clients or for natural persons. So it was like a little bit of luck that I started in a Polish law firm, but nice international clients, and I started in the time when it was like a complete like boom for legal services in Poland. There was a boom for different kind of transactions. So I was lucky actually, because I could start and quite quickly progress my career.
And if we will focus on your management role, were you always skilled to work with people and understand their needs and be a good leader?
I think that maybe there are people that you can say that they are like born leaders, but for a vast majority, it's the issue of practicing. So definitely I wasn't skilled at the university, because at the time I studied there was absolutely no subjects. No one was teaching soft skills or any kind of issues that could be helpful with managing. So I think it was learning. But when I decided, I think it was at the moment when the chance came up. I just perceived it as a sort of natural course for the career.
Was Galyna born as leader?
I wouldn't say that, but I completely agree with Agnieszka that it's a matter of time and effort you put into your professional development, because if you want to develop as a lawyer in the law firm, you have to accept more and more responsibilities, and not only not to be afraid to sign some huge due diligence reports, but also not to be afraid to take some managerial decisions, to deal with HR issues, not to be afraid to resolve some conflicts. So I think that that's a development of personality in your professional aspect.
And why did you choose to be attorney and, for example, not judge?
I considered becoming a judge, but in Ukraine it's really complicated due to numerous reasons. So actually, as I have an attorney license for only like 5 years, because in Ukraine it's not mandatory it was not mandatory to be an attorney to represent clients in courts, but then it became mandatory, and because I do a lot of tax litigations, I became an attorney. But maybe the question is more broader, why I decided to become a lawyer. Actually, I again want to agree with Agnieszka. That's maybe to a great extent, in my case at least, attributed to good luck. Because when I was choosing professions, I was not aware completely which one suits my personality better. But it turned out that legal profession suits me.
And what is your story, Cosmina?
Yeah, in Romania at the time we were not checked at all with regard to skills, let's say. So it was quite random to choose something. I chose the legal profession, namely being a lawyer, because I had already followed the law school, so we had to choose among something, and I didn't want to work for the state due to various reasons that you may imagine. So there was only one option, this becoming a lawyer, because a notary, I thought it would be too boring. You make a lot of money in the profession, but it was not for me. I wanted something more challenging, let's say, to be able to work in an international environment, which I did, and I'm grateful for that, because I had all my life the opportunity to work in international environment, even at a time when I was working in a Romanian law firm.
And did you always have great management skills?
Some think that yes, I do. Some others no, maybe, but I'm doing my best. Anyhow, I think you have to take it naturally, and it's a matter of practicing, of course, as my colleague said. So you learn it by doing it.
When we are talking about women in law, the topic that is important and discussed across countries is a pay gap between men and women in basically each profession. I understand that Peterka Partners is integrated law firms, so probably
Yes.
maybe you have a solution for this topic that you can share for another companies that are dealing with this topic, Agnieszka.
Well, I'm not. Well, Peterka Partners is an integrated law firm for sure. I'm not sure if we have solution, but for sure some kind of solution is transparency, bigger transparency, because this is basically the lack of transparency is one of the reasons of the problem. In Poland, obviously we have a huge pay gap. It's different in the public sector, it's different in the private sector. In private sector, it's obviously much bigger. And I know that recently World Economic Forum presented recent calculations where Poland's gap is estimated at, as far as I recall, 4.5%. But this is not the truth, because the pay gap very much differs depending on what kind of methodology you use. So for sure, if we are speaking about legal profession, I'm not sure if we have correct data, but we have for sure more or less correct data for managerial positions, higher managerial positions. And at the moment in Poland, the gap is estimated at 34%. So European Union is so that's quite a lot. There are many reasons for that, but I think introducing some transparency would really help. And we all know that European Union is working on certain solutions to that problem. Certain employers who employ over 50 employees would have to provide information to employees, so that even at the start and also while working in the company, employees would know at least about like the range of salary, or they could even find out about the difference in pay between women and men. I fully support this, because I think there's no other way.
Galyna, Cosmina, is it also a topic in your countries?
In Romania, I think it's the gap pay. According to the last figures I saw, it's something like 2.4%, which is not a lot. So in Romania, we are not facing this problem that high, I think, and this is also my feeling. I don't know. In the lawyer's profession, it's difficult to have statistics, so because anyhow everything is confidential, so no one is reporting. But I think that the pay gap is not that high, I would say, in Romania, and we are quite balanced, let's say. It depends on how you negotiate, basically, I think.
I would say that in Ukraine, situation is very much the same as in Romania, because when I tried to look for some researches, I haven't found any data regarding the pay gaps. So everything depends.
Maybe the data weren't collected yet. So
Yeah, maybe we are just ignoring the issue. This is also a possibility. I don't know.
If I may add something, because I think it illustrates the problem we have in Poland. According to researchers, in order to close the pay gap between women and men in Poland, we will need, if we move in the same pace as we do now, we need 107 years. And in order to close the pay gap on managerial positions, we need 267 years.
Wow.
So it really illustrates the scale of the problem.
Well, compared to the name of this project, first 100 years, because first Czech woman lawyer finished her studies 100 years ago. It's crazy, these numbers.
Yeah.
But ladies, topic of this panel is the future of legal profession. So first question, do you think the future of legal profession in our region is bright? Will we in future need lawyers? And do you see yourself also in the future being a lawyer? Let's start
Alphabetically. Yeah, I think that the future can be bright, of course. We all hope that it will be bright. It will be different, I would say, because the new generations, they are different. They compare to us. They know very well what they can do. They are very cautious, let's say, about their values, and they impose respect, first of all. So you have to treat them honestly and according to their values, I would say. So yeah, it means that we have to adapt to the new generations. We have to consider seriously their needs and not just play that we take them into account, because otherwise the new generation will not follow our old rules. We cannot behave like we used to behave in the past, when we were imposing I don't know, late hours of work and everything, basically.
I can see that this is similar in Czech Republic too, but is it a good thing that this changes?
It can be good on one hand, because maybe it was not normal what was happening in the past, that we were somehow scared that you would be fired in case you would not spend a lot of hours in the office and you would not do it according to the imposed rules. On the other hand, I think we should find a balance and not to go to one extreme to another. So from a lot of strict approach to a lot of flexibility. You have to be somewhere, as in life, in the middle. So this is the challenge, I think.
Agnieszka, same topic.
Very good question. What is the future of legal profession? So, assuming no further very extraordinary circumstances like we have during the past few years, I think that, well, according to research, the legal market is going to grow by 10% by 2030, more or less. So, so let's hope the future is bright. But obviously, there are many challenges which each law firm has to face. So one of them is how to accommodate, how to work with Generation Z, which Cosmina mentioned. But there are other like digital transformation. Everything happens in such a high pace, like in all other industries. So I would say that we as lawyers we need to adapt. Obviously, there is a lot of going on in software, like in developing software that is useful, can be useful to legal professions. We all know that certain forms of software using artificial intelligence is already implemented, is used. But in general, as lawyers, we need to improve, I would say, our communication skills. We need to be up to date, because the last thing you really want is to make your client feel that you come from, like a different era. So we cannot let that. That is why our profession will require constant changing and adapting to the new situation.
And do you see a new generation future leaders?
They must be, because legal profession is, I believe, as any other industry, you need to replace generations. And so every law firm each year takes specific number of legal trainees, of junior attorneys. You cannot imagine a law firm without junior lawyers. So the law firms will need to adapt. And furthermore, Generation Z is going to be law firms' clients. So you need to learn how to work with these people as your colleagues, but also as your clients. They are innovative. They will innovate new I would say new software, new I don't know, items. So there will be owners of the firms. They will be managers. So definitely you need to learn. You need to try to accommodate the needs.
And Galyna, what's your view on the future of legal profession? Hopefully, the future in peace times. So the ideal work for lawyers. Do you think that the attorneys can always evolve and will be always needed, or will be replaced by technologies, robots, or maybe people who don't want to work very much?
Actually, that's what I was thinking about when listening to Agnieszka, that in my opinion, the work of human mind, especially if it's generating some intellectual product, cannot be completely replaced by some artificial mechanical tools. Of course, they are helpful. They help us a lot to do research, but the final product cannot be delivered by a machine. For now, at least, and I don't believe that it will be achieved in the nearest future. But also what I wanted to add from the perspective of legal profession in Ukraine, I think that due to hopefully rebuilding Ukraine in the foreseeable future, there will be a huge demand of lawyers. So the interest to legal profession will renew. because maybe 5 years ago there was a tendency that not many wanted to become lawyers, more wanted to become IT guys. Yeah, but now I think there will be a huge demand on the market, and there will be more lawyers. And I think that one more tendency which has already started to demonstrate itself is more proportionate distribution of women within different areas of law. For example, criminal law or enforcement proceedings, which usually were occupied by men, are now being taken over by women, and that's a good sign because we have more proportionate representation of women in all areas of legal profession.
Ladies, the time is almost over, so let's go back to you personally for the last part of this interview. And I'm really interested in, what do you think is your best skill, your strongest skill that you feel you are the strongest about in your work? Let's start with Galyna.
I think my strongest skill is precision and ability to create the product with as much time invested as possible in order to like make the perfect outcome. So I'm really hardworking, and that's my added value, I think.
Agnieszka?
Well, I also believe that in a legal profession, the final outcome is totally related to the amount of time you sacrifice for that. But as for like other skills, maybe managerial, I think it's the ability to listen and sort of be in the shoes of another person. So yeah.
Empathy, maybe.
Yeah.
I think that maybe adaptability would be something that I have and helped me during the years to survive in various environments.
Perfect. I'm always very happy when my guest can find something inspiring about them. So thank you for this round of inspiration. And my very last question has to be obvious. What do you like about Prague, ladies?
Prague, it's always nice. Yeah, I like Prague. It's like a fairy sometimes. It looks like a fairy tale. So
I agree.
Yeah, well, it's very beautiful. I always admire how the city is integrated and lives like sort of close to the river, because this is not the case we have in Warsaw. But obviously there are historical and other reasons for that. But to me, Prague is magical. I always like to go back here.
Great. And Galyna?
And I admire Gothic architecture.
Perfect.
All those towers.
I thought one of you will tell that you like Prague office of Peterka Partners, but
also,
I guess this is the map. Ladies,
we like it as well. It's special.
Yes.
It's special on the map of Prague.
Yeah, it's a very historical house.
Yes, so we are very proud of it. It's been renovated recently, so it's very nice.
Great, ladies. Thank you very much. Thank you for coming to Prague, and thank you for being my guests.